make people laugh, and I'm going to make people have a good time no matter what is happening in your life, because I believe as long as you laugh, like I saw and I heard and I read, Patch Adams said it best. As long as you laughing today, tomorrow does not make a big difference on what you're trying to do in your life. Your life is going to be a whole lot easier. So now back to the main topic. Main topic today is going to be about buying real estate and or buying it for yourself, becoming a landlord, or if you choose to do passive income. Because here's the funny thing. A lot of people are complaining left and right about what's happening with the finances of today. People are losing their jobs. People are getting fired. People are complaining they ain't got enough money. People are saying they don't know what to do. Handouts is the time of handouts is over. So now's the time for you to start realizing whatever little money you had saved, you stuck inside your mattress, or you stuck it inside your cabinet, inside a can. It's time to take that money and invest it somewhere so you can have passive income. If I'm talking too fast, it might be because your internet is moving slow. So guess what? It's time for you to get your rabbits and get some giraffes, get some monkeys. Like I got a couple of monkeys on my roof right now holding the satellite. Got perfect weekend reception, so we ain't worried about anything. So understand something. The giraffe is holding the monkey on his head, and the monkey's on top of the aluminum foil. So if I can do that, you can do it too. So don't turn around and say you can't get no internet, because dang it, the internet is quite expensive with some of these places. So here's the deal. We're going to talk about basically how to get into real estate. Brother Ron has purchased real estate, owns real estate in the past. I believe it's still functioning in his mind. It's like just like yesterday's news. So we had asked him to join us based off on how much information he has. And I believe that the information that I have that I'm going to present to you folks today, he can either co-coincide what is being said and or piggyback off what I'm talking about, or even put me in my place if I'm saying something wrong. Because I believe like this, as long as all right.
I'll just answer questions.
All right. So if someone turns around and says, Jay, you're wrong with your information, like I've always said, and I say it time and time again, before I open my mouth, I find the data, I look for the data, I verify the data before I open my mouth. This way I don't look like a fool. And if you stand in front of me and say, Jay, you don't know what you're talking about, you better come ready, because I'm going to come at you. I'm going to come at you with books and data. So with that being said, we know that a lot of us are crying about the status of money. I mean, we see it on social media right now. So many people talking about this $5,000 that's coming back. That's supposed to be an AK Doge stimulus type of check coming back to people, saying that it's official, saying it's not official. First and foremost, we have to understand something. Stop regurgitating non-worthy information. Because at the end of the day, just because you want some likes and some followers and some clicks and all that stuff on your page, at the end of the day, someone's going to walk off of it. They're going to jump off because you're not reliable. You're not a very good person to deal with. Even though I know this for a fact, okay? Some of you may agree, some of you may disagree. Hey, most of you may disagree. Most of the people hanging around you are just going to BS you all your life anyway. So as they continue BSing you, that's probably why you're doing what you're doing. I, on the other hand, I'm not like that. I'm going to keep it 100 as much as possible. If I get 99%, I'm golden. If not, I'm going to be all right. Yes, Top, be a responsible creator. Absolutely. So here's what's happening. Brother Ron and we have spoken on several occasions on several topics. And today's topic is don't let this be you when it comes to home buying. The reason why today's topic is so important to me, because I have gone, and I'm going to specifically talk about the state of New Jersey, a specific county in New Jersey called Essex County. Essex County holds the largest city in all of New Jersey, okay? And the reason why I chose to talk about that place is because I was mentioning before, there's a brother that I follow on TikTok that talks about real estate and the prices of the homes. And I was kind of pushed back to see the prices of these homes in the state of Jersey, in the specific area of Essex County. Now, the reason why I chose this specific area is A, because I lived there. B, I've done business there. C, I've dealt with the politicians there. So the information that I have is dating from many years ago, yet I'm sure that a lot of the information is still viable today. So with that being said, we're going to jump in right now to a real simplified situation here. Brother Ron, before I even jump to that, Brother Ron, thank you very much for joining us. I forgot to give this proper shout out to the moderators. And Brother Ron,
good, bro.
You're sitting there and we talking. It's like I'm just talking and talking. Brother Ron, I appreciate you coming in. please explain to everybody who you are, what your channel is, and if you don't mind, please plug it in there. Matter of fact, you plug your channel in that chat room every 5 minutes if you need to. Go on ahead. You can do whatever you want. Because my house is your house. Mi casa, su casa. And at the end of the day, you TikTokers, you gotta follow this brother Ron, because you must understand this man has so much information that makes me jealous. Jealous in the moment that I have to go back into my thinking banks and see if I can actually talk the same way he speaks. He has information that will shock you very, very much. So go ahead, brother Ron. Let everybody know who you are, please, and thank you.
Again, my name is Ron. My channel is Ron's Opinion Don't Matter. Basically, most of what I talk about on my channel is some politics, gun content, Second Amendment, how I feel about the Second Amendment, life, God, of course, my relationship with God, how to handle your life, a little bit of real estate. And it's vast. My channel is very vast. So it's not one-sided or specific so much. It's more so about those particular subjects. And then I get into just life. Basically life, what's going on politically wise. And then just I try to find stories, I try to be inspirational. So I'm not one-sided. I go in sometimes a little hard on certain issues because I'm a little more passionate about it. But at the end of the day, I love my country. I love America. I love where I'm born at. Just so you get an idea of where I'm at and how I am. And I just want to see us do better as a country, as a people, relationship-wise, family-wise, all the way across the board. I want us to be able to share our knowledge and grow, if that makes sense to anyone. But that's what I'm about.
It makes total sense. I thank you, brother Ron. Appreciate you saying that. And once again, I appreciate you coming on through and joining the fun. Okay,
hey, it's all good, brother.
I appreciate you. Because at the end of the day, I believe each one teach one. And as we come together as a community, as a village, we tend to teach more people about things, and people be much more appreciated that we taking the time. And we thank you for taking the time to listen to the Fat Tatular Show at this moment and be part of the Fat Tatular Show. And please like, follow, subscribe, and share, because the information may not fit you, yet the information may sit and fit well for somebody that you may know. And at the end of the day, they may just come over and give you a cup of sugar since you like the bald things. And if you don't like the bald things, you can give them a cup of sugar and then turn around and give me a cup of sugar, because at the end of the day, we're all full of sugar. That's the way it's going to work. We're going to be full of sugar all the time because we're going to be laughing. We're going to be having a good old time. All right. So as I said before, today's topic is actually going to be very simplified about real estate. It's either buying real estate, becoming a landlord, and or gaining passive income, because a lot of you don't have suffice amount of money right now and are concerned about what's happening with the Doge and losing money here, losing grants here, finding out some people getting arrested, getting nervous because your name may be attached to them. Look here, we're going to keep this 100 because it's out there. If it's out there, I can talk about it. If the Attorney General of the state of New York can forge documents to fit her, guess what? She is the wrong person that she should not be talking about trying to press charges on anybody because she's doing something wrong. Okay, you don't turn around and buy yourself a 5-unit brownstone, and on the paperwork say it's only a 4-unit because you want to turn around and say that you want to get a better interest rate, or you want to get a better mortgage rate, or you want to get a better standing. So you lie on documents.
Right.
Let's not also forget how.
I mean, it's probably more to it too, because she probably was trying to get around some regulations too.
Yes, sir. Yes,
here's
sir.
my point: the city of Philadelphia, right? Because I got my real estate in the city of Philadelphia.
Right.
If you have a 4-unit or more, you got to install a fire system.
Right.
Fire suppression 4 or 5 units, so you have to actually go and have a fire sprinkler system installed.
Right.
So I don't know how that is in New York, but it might be that borderline of no, it's gonna be 4.
Because she didn't want to dump any more money into it.
Didn't want to dump no more money in there. So we know how that game is played. But
absolutely. And to piggyback off of that, the funny one that I found out as well is that she turned around and she had another mortgage, or the same mortgage possibly, that she had listed her father as her husband, which of course that is a major no-no, because of course it's a different scale. It's just like your
Right.
taxes. You fall into a different scale when you turn around and say you're married and getting a home or getting a mortgage, and or if it's a family member. So once again, there's a whole lot of mess going on with that woman, and she's supposed to be the attorney general, which is supposed to be aka the top dog of law. So if the top dog of law is being crooked, look here. I'm so glad I'm out of the tri-state area because I couldn't deal with that. Okay.
Yeah.
And of course, there's other things happening within real estate that is just disgusting. Okay. So with that being said, we're going to jump back on and talk about our topic, because Brother Ron and I, we're going to take this and we're going left. I'm letting you know right now, we're going to go left with this one. Brother Ron and me, we're going to take this, we're going to knock this one out the park. We're going to send it to the other side of the park. We're just going to have some fun. We're going to have 45 minutes of fun. All right. Just so y'all know, so y'all can actually join us and listen to all this nonsense later on, and or like, follow, share, subscribe. Brother Ron, plug your page in there so they can see it. I want y'all to follow this, brother. I want you to share what we have, and we're going to continue. Okay, so with that being said, everybody listen, you know, if you have a question, please feel free to put your questions in the comment box. Your TikTokers, if you have a question, send it over to the YouTube page. My YouTube page is up there. It's YouTube at Bone Crusher. This information may help you become more sustained, which means that you taking your little bit of money. Yes, I said it, your little bit of money, because I know for a fact there's men, I know it for a fact. And I say a fact because I'm going to show you why it's a fact. Many of you are making under $50,000. So every little penny that you got saved, you can actually use that little bit of money to get something to make you self-sustained, which in fact makes you much more profitable at the end of the day. All right. So with that being said, let's just take a look at something real here. And I want you guys to understand something. These are not things that I just magically made. Okay, these are actual facts. You can actually go into the systems and find it. I had a little hard time trying to find some information, yet a lot of the information is out there. So the reason why I picked these specific places is because these are places that I A, have lived in, B, have visited, C, have friends and family that lived in. Okay, so everything I'm talking about is based off of me physically having the experience and the understanding and the notion of what's going on. So if the median home sale price in Florida is roughly around $410,000, that's according to Bankrate, which is slightly lower than the national median sale price of $420. Not much of a big difference. $420, $410. Listen, we're just going to put it right in the middle, $400,000. Keep that in mind. The median home sale price in Virginia is $465. Keep that in mind. $465. Now, if you're trying to figure this out, just simply doing your mathematics, because you do simple mathematics, you take $1,000 a week, you got 52 weeks, that's $52,000. Come on now, simple mathematics. Let's keep this real simple. For those that don't know math, it's real simple. We're gonna keep this real simple. The median home price in New Jersey, which is now coming closer to home, because I lived in Jersey, I lived in Essex County, $530,000. Right now, this is a report from March 2025. It's an increase from 6.2 of the previous year to a 9.8. So that means it's jumped up 3.5 points in less than a year, or approximately a year and a half, give or take. Yet the overall is $548,000 in the state of New Jersey.
I'm just gonna be homeless.
Brother Ron, you close to New Jersey, so I don't know. I don't know, Brother Ron. This is some scary information here. $500,000 or better? I don't know. The next part might scare the crap out of you. I don't know. I don't know. Again. All right, now. Check this out. This is where it gets a little more closer to home. Like I said, what I speak is the information that I know of, because I've looked for it, I've ventured into it, I've done it, I've vetted it. So it's part of me, so I'm going to share it with you. The median list price for a home in North Carolina is $400,000 with an average of $199 per square foot. Per square foot is the most important part that you need to understand about buying a home. square foot means heating, not so much the square footage of the home, because you could get a 2,100 square foot home, but your heating is only 1,700. You need to put that into your configuration so you know exactly what you're buying and how you're going to work along with the mortgage broker and your real estate agent, because you don't want to pay more if you don't have to. It's simple mathematics. Think about it. Okay. Now, if the median home value in Charlotte, North Carolina, is $398,000, that's the median. That means that when we hear the word median, that means the median. That means not the highest, not the lowest, right in the middle. So it's the middle number, right? The median home sale price in South Carolina is currently around $377,000+, which is lower than the national median price of $437,000, which of course now the home value in South Carolina is $298,000. So let's just say $298,000 on the South Carolina side, $398,000 on the North Carolina side. And of course, I want to talk about Texas, because we all want to talk about Texas because we on Brother Ron's side, Brother Ron's channel, he had a brother or a follower or a sister. They turned around and informed me that in their town, they are actually the town where they 45 minutes away from the border. In their town, they had an acre of land for $1,500. Now I'm letting you know right now, if you know anything about when it comes to don't overpay, guys, you're absolutely right. Top to bottom, don't overpay. Don't overpay. You're absolutely right.
No.
Top to bottom, do me a favor. Do me a big favor. Top to bottom, you can hear this. I know you can hear this. Plug your page in there. Plug your website in there so the people can actually see what you got, but they can go ahead and follow you and see what you got and see what you have to present. If an acre of land in Texas is $1,500, and then I want you to keep that in mind. An acre of land is $1,500. Now we're going to start getting a little more deeper. Hopefully y'all can see this. All right. The reason why we want to talk about mortgage rates is because this is something that a lot of people don't realize. Your mortgage rate does not go across the board to everyone. It's not a one size fits all. Everybody's mortgage rate is going to be different. Of course, you always want to try to get the lowest mortgage rate possible. Yet, due to how you may think, because you got an 800 credit score, you're going to get that low interest rate. Come to find out that your DTI, which is your debt to income ratio, winds up throwing that interest rate a much higher. And the first thing you say is, oh, but I got good credit. I got an 800 credit score. No. It's based off of how much money you actually have, how much money you spend, how you maintain your bills, and where your bill status is at. Okay. So on that chart, I'm hoping that everybody can see that chart. I'm just going to minimize Brother Ron and myself just in case, so that everybody can see this chart. This chart right here is just basically telling you if you got a $425,000 home, your mortgage is going to be $3,000. Make sense of it, people. Now, again, this is actually inside the state of New Jersey. I'm going to show you why it's in the state of New Jersey, because I specifically put a specific zip code, which you see down at the bottom. It says 07103. 07103 is Newark, New Jersey. Newark, New Jersey is the largest city in all of the state of New Jersey, right? So this is telling you that a house that is $425,000 a month inside the city of Newark is $3,000. So right there, you already know that you have to be making a month in salary. You need to be making a minimum of 12. Come on now. Come with it. 30%. Come on now. They ain't hard. It ain't hard. Come on now. $3,000 is your mortgage. How much money you need to be making a week? It's very simplified. You got to be making $1,200 a week or more just to satisfy your mortgage, right? And that's inside the city of Newark. Now, here's the worst part. I can tell you the average person in the city of Newark is not even making $1,000 a week. So why is it that the medium home sale is that high? So this comes down to other things about when it comes to actually buying a house inside the state of New Jersey, inside Essex County. It leads to more things. Now, I want to leave that up there because I want you guys to think about this for a moment, okay? If the average person is making only $700 a week, that's $2,800 a month. And that's if they're working at some place that's paying them good money. So if they only making $2,800 a month, but they want to buy a house that's $400,000, mortgage is $3,000. That's only the mortgage is $3,000. You got your insurance, you got your car insurance, you got your car payment. Because again, many of you have a car and say it's yours, but it's not yours because you're paying the bank. It ain't yours, and so your name is on it. So you're paying the bank, so it's not yours. So then you have that. You have child care, you have transportation care, you have food, you have clothing. If you want to wear all them fancy clothes, you don't want to go to Walmart, you want to go to a Nike store and spend $300 on a pair of sneakers, which I don't understand that either. That just tells me that you guys are mostly you receiving handouts if you're going to walk around with a $300 pair of sneakers. I don't understand it. Okay? $300 pair of sneakers. Listen, I got a nephew that turned around and bought a mask because it was his birthday. He spent $400 on a mask because it was his birthday. I turned around and asked him, I said, why'd you buy a mask? It's $400. He said, because I wanted it. It's my birthday. I said, but you got 3 kids. Where's your kids' stuff? Where's the clothes? Where's the food? Did you take them out for the day? Did you go take them out for the weekend? Like, come on now. You could have took $100, got yourself a little basic mask because you wanted to buy a mask, and spend $300 on each one of your kids. But you know what he turned around and said? He said, Uncle Jay, you don't understand. You're right. I don't understand. I don't understand how you spent money on something that was not supposed to be worth all. It's not worth it. No, it wasn't worth it. But this is what it comes down to. I just want you guys to understand that when I talk with facts. All right? Now, with that being said, there's another topic I want you guys to understand. Okay? Even as we sit here today, Brother Ron and Brother Ron sits there and he's just piling in this information. Okay, and I know his wheels is turning because I can see because he's sitting there like this, just like a politician does, sit there like this. I'm gonna wait to figure out when he's gonna stop talking so I can jump in and start telling him he's wrong. But guess what? I'm gonna wait for it. So, Brother Ron, with your experience in purchasing properties back in the day or presently, however it may be, run through with me, please, or tell me how it was for you.
Before I get into that,
go ahead.
Those numbers are scary. You gotta understand something. When I first bought here's the thing. All right, so my first property that I ever purchased, I paid $26,000.
I believe it.
And in the city of Philadelphia, right? And I tell you what, let me give you this story because you said the first purchase of it.
Go ahead. The floor is yours.
I'm going to be brutally honest, and somebody's probably going to get offended. But
and if they get upset, it's because it hurts and it's the truth. Go ahead.
Yes, right. All right. So here's what happened. I wanted to get into real estate. I was in my early 20s, and somebody introduced me to a Jewish man, and he invited me to his house. He lived up in Northeast Philadelphia. So I know you, Jay, you might be a little familiar with Philadelphia.
A little bit.
Northeast Philadelphia is what back then was considered the wealthier part of Philadelphia.
Okay.
So I had an appointment. I go up there to visit this guy, and he's he was heavy in real estate, very heavy. He owned a lot. He owned a lot of property, rental property. He had a couple of triplexes. He had warehouses that he rented out and stuff like that. So he wasn't like a rookie, but he said he would take the time to sit down with me and give me some insight.
Okay.
And so I go to his house, you know, he takes me into his basement. And I'm saying this to kind of encourage people, but then also give you a dose, give people somewhat of a dose of reality. And he said to me, he said, you know, he went down there, made me some espresso, and I went, you know, we down there talking or whatever. I ain't never had espresso in my life. It was disgusting, but he just sits me down, and probably about 30 minutes after we got into conversation, the mailman came. Dropped off his mail. His wife come downstairs, hands him a stack of envelopes. So he's talking to me, and he's cutting open envelopes, and he let me see about 3 or 4 page checks that he get from his real estate business. He ran it all out of his basement. Large checks at the time, very large checks. But what he said to me was, he said, this was his advice to me. He said, do you know where I own property at? And I said, no. He said, 90% of the property that I own is in areas where, I'm not trying to be racist, he said, but where your people live. And I'm looking at him. This is why I said people might get offended by this. And I said, okay. He said, young man, don't take this the wrong way. He said, but that's where the money's at. And I'm looking at him like, what do you mean by that? He said, listen, he said, I hate to say this. He said, but your people walk past abandoned houses every day. They walk past empty properties every day. They walk by empty warehouses.
Listen, this is gonna hurt you. This is gonna hurt you. This is the truth.
He said they walk by empty warehouses. What's up, Oak? Out the pit. How you doing? God bless you. Welcome in, brother. He said they walk by empty houses all the time. He said they never look at their surroundings as an opportunity to make money. This is what he said to me. You know, inside a little bit, I'm young. You know how you are when you're young. My blood is a little bit boiling, but I'm trying to consume what he's saying and not get offended. So he said, if you want to make money, real profit, he said, go in your area where your people live and buy it up. That's what he said.
TikTok, listen.
He said, go in your area where you live and buy it up, right? So I said, okay, no problem. You know, we tacked for it, and don't get me wrong, this guy had money. Like his house, when you walk to his house, it didn't look that nice. He had two vehicles. He had a piece of crap Honda,
right,
and he had an SUV. Right. And he said, yeah, I drive the piece of crap Honda, and my wife drives the SUV because she picks up the grandkids and take them to school and stuff.
Okay.
When I say that piece of crap Honda was like whatever, but when you walked into his house, you knew he had some type of money. His whole floors was done in marble and granite in his house. He had a built-in swimming pool. His wife had this Mickey Mouse kick that she loved Mickey Mouse, and it was everywhere in the house. The swimming pool had Mickey Mouse painted in the bottom of the swimming pool. That's how much she loved Mickey Mouse. But to give you an idea what type of, at that time, where he was at. But back to the other part. So I go to a real estate agent. Of course, I'm a rookie in this, and this is why I think this is very, very important for our audience and your audience and the topic that you're saying, because I own nothing at this time. So I go look for a property, right? And I say, okay, I'm gonna listen to what he said. And right around the corner from where my mother lived, where I grew up, there was a house for sale, right? The very house that I told you, and then what it was is it was a triplex. It had 3 apartments.
Okay.
All right, so piggybacking, he didn't tell me this part, but the brain started circling differently. So I said, wow.
Listen, TikTok.
So I went to there and I found about it and I said, okay, this is a triplex, right? I go and I inquire about it. I go to my real estate agent and I said, I'm looking for a piece of property. Now, here's where you have to be. This is where you have to be very, very careful. The real estate agent was trying to coach me out of buying that house.
Listen, TikTok, he speaks truth now.
Right.
He's speaking the truth.
When she said, well, you guys can afford to live in a better neighborhood, right? And I'm like, now, the relationship that I was in at the time, now we clash, because in their mind, we can live in a better neighborhood. In my mind, I'm looking at financial security. So I had to convince the person I said, no, let's buy this. She said, and I'm like, this is why we should buy this. I said, it's a triplex. I said, I am a contractor by trade. I said, this is what I think we should do. I said, let's move in. We're going to move in on the 3rd floor because that's the hardest one to rent.
True.
I said, I will go in and we'll update the property and re-rent it out and get more money out of it. Now, at that time, the mortgage, once we finally went through the process, because the real estate agent knew I wasn't listening. I ain't trying nothing they trying to say. I want this house. At the time, the guy wanted $36,000 for it when he was selling it. Which I know that number is like, man, I wish. Right? So we go and what happened was, here's a funny story. I knew about the house because my dad did contract work and I used to do work with my dad. Okay. My dad remodeled the bathroom on the 3rd floor of this very same house.
Right.
Him and my dad were very good friends. So when I go acquire the house, we go through the process or whatever. But before we get there, you know how you're getting ready to go do your final walkthrough before you go to purchase the house. Right. So as we go through the final walkthrough, finally, I knew who the owner was, but he didn't know who I was.
Okay.
When we met there, we all met at the same time. He said, "Ain't you Joe's son?" I said, "Yeah." He was like, "Your dad was the one working in my house." Yeah, I said. He said, "I know." He said, "Cause I remember you was in there helping them do the bathroom and stuff." I said, "Yeah, I remember." I said, he said, "Oh, okay, all right." He said, "I didn't know you was the one buying this house." I said, "Yeah, you know." I said, "Well," he said, "I did not know that." He said, "Before we go finalize this paper," he said, "I want you to take $10,000 off this house, and we're gonna have to redo everything."
Oh,
And that was God right there.
oh,
So that's where the $26,000 come from
for a 3-family.
Wow. So anyway, I go in and we go in and I fix it up and I rent out. Listen, need I remind you, I inherited 2 tenants. The only part was empty was the 3rd floor.
Okay.
So we moved in on the 3rd floor. We finalized everything. 2 weeks later, I collected $700 in rent.
Ooh, boy.
All right. So now, one person, she's ready to move. And I had an older guy that was living on the 2nd floor who, to me, was having a hard time climbing up the steps. So I redid the 1st floor, moved him down on the 1st floor. He was a very faithful tenant, and I only increased his rent $25. And I would say, as long as he was an older gentleman. So I said, as long as you here, you'll never pay no more money than that. And as long as I own this building, you'll stay right there. I would take it on the chin because he was almost at 80 years old at the time. I didn't want to hurt him. I know he was on a fixed income.
Are y'all listening to this TikTok?
Right.
Y'all listen to this, right? Because I'm gonna shock the shit out of you in a moment.
I said to him, I said, "Chill." I said, "You're gonna be Mr. Johnson. You good? You can stay." And until that, and he had kids, and they appreciated it. It was like, they come by and check on him and stuff like that. And then I redid the 2nd floor, added a little bit up to it, and re-rented that out, and I got almost twice as much money in rent because it was way below market value at the time.
Right.
So I ended up getting more money out of it there, and we stayed there. Now, as I'm in this house, fixing it up, I'm still working my job, coming home from work, working in this house, remodeling it. The 3rd floor was already in fairly decent condition, so I stayed there. Now, in the process of doing that, this is why I say this is why I say that what you're talking about is essential. If somebody in the early stages want to get into real estate, you got to start thinking.
Right.
I go up to Billy. How you doing? God bless you. I go up to we end up purchasing a 2nd house about almost 2 years later. Right. Once I got that one situated, I was bringing in possibly about $1,500 to $1,600 a month in rent if it was fully rented out. Now, need I remind you, I had a mortgage on this house that was only $298.
Oof.
So everything above that is all profit.
All profit. Right.
So I said, okay, let me do this again. Now we needed to move ourselves because we were getting to the point. So we purchased another house. I got that house that was in a bad condition. I paid $26,000 for this one again, but in another neighborhood, West Oak Lane, Philadelphia. Right? Took me a year to fix it up because it needed work. So I'm up. After I get off work, I go up and I work in the house. Eventually, we move out of the 3rd floor there. We rent that out, and then I move there. Now, again, this one house is paying for both houses.
That's right.
Because this house is only $200 and something a month. This one is only $198, and I'm bringing in $1,600.
Preach it. Say it again, brother. Say it again.
Right. So when you start talking about passive income or profit, then if I would have listened to that real estate agent and went and not listened to the Jewish man who schooled me beforehand, I would have missed out on it. So I went up there and I moved. We fixed that house up. I moved there and then re-rented that house out. And then, and it just kept I didn't go too much further than that. Now, need I remind you, my brother was doing, 2 of my brothers were doing the very same thing. On one street in the city of Philadelphia.
TikTok, passive income. This is what we're talking about here. Passive income. Come on, TikTok. Follow through now.
On one street in the city of Philadelphia, me and my 2 brothers, we owned 6 houses collectively. Right around the corner from my mother's house. My brother purchased the house across the street from my mother's house. We went around the corner from that, and we owned collectively 6 houses. Now, here's the crazy part. Before all of this took part, this is the part I forgot to mention. They was having is a nonprofit organization called Coke Coalition, right? and they were dealing with the city of Philadelphia, and they was talking about target zones. Now I know you know about target zones, where the government was going to come in, give funding to revitalize certain neighborhoods. So you had a red zone where there was the first zone of it, and they had a second phase of it, and they had a third phase of it. The property that we were buying wasn't in the first phase. We were located in the second phase.
Okay.
But before all of this took place, I went to that meeting and I brought that information back to my brothers, and that's why we went full steam.
Good choice.
So it wasn't so much just about the money that we was going to get in rent. The property value, we knew what was going to go up, because if we were in position to, so this is why when you remember when I did the live a while back and I said, what are you going to do to capitalize on the Trump administration? Get all the rhetoric out of your head and all of the hype and stuff. Stop worrying about all that. Get into this.
That's right. That's right.
I knew what was coming before it was getting ready to happen. That very same property went from a value of maybe $30-something thousand. In 10 years, that property was worth over 200 grand.
You know, Brother Ron, if I could just jump in there real quick.
Go ahead, you got it. I'm done.
No, listen, your information was great. I mean, it was great because what you just last landed on is the next slide that I'm actually going to present. Because I want to tell my TikTokers exactly what's happening, why you talking like this, and they can understand. This is what we call passive income.
Yes.
And in the old ruling is this: you buy low, sell high. That's the golden rule. That's what it's all about. You buy low and sell high. When I made my grocery store, yes, I said it. I made it. And yes, unfortunately, it's a stigma. All Dominicans own grocery stores. Guess what? Sí, nosotros tenemos los grocery stores. So what? And what are you going to do? You're going to keep coming back and shopping in my store because you need your eggs and your bread. So that's it. I don't care what you do. Give me your money and we're okay. So that's how it's going to happen. Give me your money. I take your money and I give you some soda. That's it. Go ahead. Goodbye. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow. So this is what we're all about.
Mike in the building.
I turned around and I built my grocery store with nothing but 3 large windows. It was 2,200 square feet. I put all the material inside that store. I spent about a good $60,000 to build the grocery store. Now, mind you, this grocery store was a block and a half from another grocery store. It was 2 blocks away from 2 99-cent stores. It was 8 blocks away from a supermarket. And everyone in the neighborhood kept coming to me and asking me, why is it that you have Goya and Coca-Cola coming to your store twice a week? I was like, why are you in my business? Why are you in my business that deep? Oh, because it's kind of weird that we don't see that happening everywhere else. I said, I'm not everybody else. I am me. And I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. Why? Because I made a deal with Goya to give me the product at a specific price rate where they wind up getting what's called point of sale, which of course is depending where inside the store, that real estate is what they look for, right? That real estate. Here's the key word, real estate. Same thing with the Coca-Cola. They put the whole front of my store in Coca-Cola colors and Coca-Cola signage all over the place because that's money for them, right? That's the passive income. Now, when I sold it, now mind you, I bought it and I spent $65,000 for it. When I sold it for well over $200,000. Okay. Now, unfortunately, as an idiot that I was back when I was younger, okay, I was an idiot. I went on this, I'm gonna spend. Wasn't thinking. I was just spending. Okay. I did the foolish thing. Now to this day, I'm actually regretting all the things that I've done wrong. If I would have kept that same mindset till now, I would probably be in a better state. But I probably won't be married to my wife. So that's a blessing. Right. So here's the thing. I want to piggyback off of something he said. Ron has said that the realtor he was talking to kept telling him, no, you can actually go get this house instead. This is a much better house for you to get. Don't get that 3-family house. Get this house because this is the one I know that you would feel better in. What that real estate agent was doing, and this is where TikTok, you got to understand, this is what it is. Like, follow, subscribe, and share to my channel. It's at Bone Crusher. YouTube at Bone Crusher. Yes. If you like the information about how to create passive income, become a landlord, buy your own home, follow the channel so you can get in this chat so you can actually see what the chats are saying and what people are talking about. That realtor, unfortunately, was only looking at her or his commission. Wasn't looking at the benefit that it was going to be for Brother Ron and his peoples. They wanted a commission. The commission was take you out of that $26,000 house or that under $100,000 house where I'm only going to get $2,000 as a real estate agent. I'm going to stick you in this $500,000 house and I'm going to get a $50,000 commission. That's the mistake that a lot of realtors do. That's why thankfully, I've met my realtor when I was up in New Jersey. His name is Randy Reyes. That's I'm putting it out there. Randy Reyes in the state of New Jersey. Randy Reyes. He lives in New Jersey. He's in Fort Lee. He's a very, very good guy. He's a very down-to-earth guy. Listen, if I had an opportunity to hug this guy every day, I will. Because this guy, he said to me, Jay, I don't care if the house is $20,000 or $200,000. We're going to do everything we can to get you in the house in the state of New Jersey. Now, this is going to come back to what Brother Ron was just saying. Now, I want to piggyback off of something I was going to show you. As I mentioned at the very start of this, okay, this segment today is talking about how to become a realtor, a landlord, buy your own home, and or create passive income, because you all complain that you ain't got no money. So we're going to show you how to make some money. Brother Ron said he bought a house, a 3-family house for $26,000 actually it was 56,000, 46. What was it? 56.
36,000 initially.
36,000 when it first was offered. Turned around and got a $10,000 discount from the actual owner that was selling it. One being for $26,000. And of course, that house has tripled in its market value because of what he has done with going through the red tape and finding out what is actually happening in his area. Now, with that being said, this is what I want to share with you guys. I want to share you guys, as I mentioned before, when I talk about something, I talk about what I know, okay? And when I say what I know is because I know. Now, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and say you guys can see this screen here. This screen here is by a company called Redfin. Okay, Redfin's a very good company to follow through when you're trying to find a home, right? Now, on this website, I specifically kept some places that I personally, the wife and I, rather should I say, we personally have looked into buying these homes because we were very interested in buying these homes. So now, hold on. Okay, now this company is called this website is Redfin. Redfin, to me, I found to be one of the best to actually look for a home. That's just me. Okay, not saying you got to do it because I don't know what state you're in, but if you use Redfin, it might give you some information that you're really looking for. Now, these are specific places that the wife and I, we have, when we was living up in New Jersey, we went to these homes and put bids in for these homes, right? So we're going to start with this one right here. Okay, there's a reason why we're going to start. Hold on now. We're going to start with this one here first, and I'm going to explain why. This one here, as you see, this square is representing the property. You TikTokers, you got to go over to YouTube to see what's actually happening. Go over to my YouTube channel, YouTube at Bone Crusher, so you can see what I'm looking at. And you can actually turn around and tell everybody else who's on TikTok selling homes and selling lots for ridiculous prices. I'm going to show you why they're doing it. Okay. Now, this property right here is listed at $250,000. It's just a lot. Okay. It's just a lot for $250,000. Okay. The bad thing about this lot at $250,000, it's in half an acre. Okay, a half of an acre. So earlier, you guys heard me talk about a brother or sister or person on Ron's channel introduced me to a company in Texas that has an acre of land for $1,500. Yet in the state of New Jersey, they want $250,000 for a half an acre. And here's the worst part. That house that's directly next to it was using that lot illegally as a driveway to the garage in the back. So you don't have a garage. You don't have walkable space in the back. The area, unfortunately, is not one of the greatest areas. It's been trying to get re-gentrified for 20 plus years right now, 2 decades. Why I say 2 decades? Because I've been there. I lived there. I know what was happening there. I've had business in there. I tried to deal with the politics there. I know this specific block. I know this specific lot. Okay. The house next to it, Okay, when the house was vacant, I put a bid in for $110,000 for the house because it needed to be repaired. Yet the lot mysteriously is on the market for $250,000. Now, here's something else I want you guys to understand. Okay, I'm going to show you another one. Okay, I'm going to show you another one because at the end of the day, if I don't show you, you won't believe me, right? You won't believe me. So this house that I'm going to show you now, okay, is amazing. It's amazing when I seen this one because I could not understand. No, that's not it. Oh, my bad. I could not understand this. I really couldn't. Okay, I really couldn't. This house here, we turned around and we actually went to see this house. We put a bid in for this house. Okay, I believe now you guys can see it. This house was listed at $110,000 when my wife and I went to go see it. Okay, we know this house. We know it very, very well. This was about in 2015. In 2015, we put a bid in for this house for $110,000. Okay, if anybody who's watching on TikTok, you guys are following this guy that sells houses in Newark, New Jersey. I'll tell you what, next time you see him, next time you reach out to him, tell him to get you the real data, the real information behind the house that he's selling. You're going to be surprised. They marked up the house almost 6 times its value. This house that I'm showing on the TikTok, on my YouTube side, which is YouTube at Bone Crusher, you can see what I'm talking about. So like, follow, subscribe, and share. This house here, I put a bid in for $110,000. The market value at the time was only $75,000. Right now, they want $264,000. Mind you, it's in a shared community, so there's an HOA. On top of the HOA, your mailbox is on the corner, so you don't get to drive to your house and go get the mail. You got to get out your car, walk down the block, pick up your mail, then drive, and then walk back to the house. So you're paying the HOA for that. Okay, and anybody who knows about HOAs, HOAs is just like rent. Rent, you go going up and up and up and up, and it gets added onto your mortgage. It's not separate from your mortgage. Okay, now there's another one that I need to show you guys, and this one is going to shock you. This one is going to shock you guys like there's no bloody tomorrow, and I'm going to tell you why. This house here, the wife and I, we went to see this house. We went to see the adjoining house. The adjoining house at the time was listed at $49,000. As this house was listed at $49,000, 49 back in 2014, 2015, $49,000. Now, I don't know about you, TikTok, and I don't know about you, YouTubers, and you Facebookers. You TikTokers got to follow me on YouTube at Bone Crusher, so you guys can follow, like, and share, and understand why I'm speaking to you guys in Newark, New Jersey, East Orange, New Jersey, Orange, New Jersey. If you're inside Essex County, you are the ones that I'm picking on. This house right here, Brother Ron, you can see this, I'm sure, it has purple rugs inside the house. The house is still showing its value or its standing from 1937 to probably 1957. That's right, I said it. I'm going to sound a little bit like Bernie Mac. 1957. That's because them rugs is just as old as my backside. Yes, indeed. How you going to turn around and show me a house that has 1,900 freaking rugs on the floor and talk about $264,000 and an HOA of $135 a month? Now, here's the worst part. Brother Ron, I see you giggling over there. I see you giggling.
I'm laughing at the paneling.
Brother Ron, can you see that? A pink carpet with pink walls, and you want me to give you $249,000.
And they still got paneling on the walls, like the brick paneling, that fake brick paneling.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So here's where it gets crazy to me. Brother Ron, the house right next to it is the house that my wife and I, we put a bid in because it was only listed at $49,000 at the time.
Wow.
Okay. Now, the only reason why we didn't buy it was because the woman that claimed to be the chairperson of the HOA says that we had to pay her $25 a month because of the community area in the back. The community area in the back was just literally maybe, I'm going to say 100 feet by 35 feet complete, because every back door of every house led to the backyard, except for the one that we were looking at, because it had its own deck and it was blocked off. So then I asked her the question. I said, wait a minute, if you're in charge of the HOA, you're the chairperson, director of the HOA, please explain to me how is it that every single house is a different color? Because HOA is not allowed. You got HOA, you're supposed to have every house is supposed to look exactly the same from the year that they started the HOA till right now. Okay, so I'm looking at a house right now, and this is live. This is not Memorex. This is not no tape. This is not no replay. This is live. You go to Redfern, you tap that in, you're gonna see the same thing I'm looking at. Brother Ron's looking at it. He can contest it. All my YouTube followers is doing the same thing, looking at it very well and understand what I'm talking about. Y'all gonna see this very, very clear. A house with pink walls, pink rug for $249,000. You couldn't even paint the house to look right, but you want $249,000 for it, and you want $135 a month, just because the woman who's in charge of the HOA that's there, she told me to my face, because her husband wanted to know I talked to me. He said, "No, you need to talk to my wife because I'm not getting involved with this." She turned around. She said, "We do that because if someone gets hurt in the back, we need to protect them. And we need to cover their medical bills." I said, "But the house I'm looking at got a porch. It's enclosed. It's not even part of that backyard. So are you going to come and clean my snow in front? You going to rake the leaves when the leaves are done?" She said, "No." I said, "Well, who's going to do that?" She said, "You." I said, "Then I ain't paying you a goddamn penny." She said, "Well, I guess you ain't moving in then." I said, "Hold up now." You can't tell me that. She said, "Yes, I can. I could just do it." I said, "All right." I looked at my realtor and I asked my realtor. I said, "Is there HOA here?" That son of a gun done turned around and told me, "Not that I know of." I said, "So what's she talking about?" And unfortunately, come to find out, she had it in the paperwork inside the county that she did have charge of the HOA, and we backed off of it. And unfortunately, we didn't buy it. Now, the worst part behind that story of that particular house, the house on the opposite side of that house has a massive hole in the ceiling on the roof. That if you go and you type in that address into Google Maps, you're going to see that it's blurred out. And it's blurred out from now all the way down to 1987 because they don't want to be embarrassed. There's got to be, come on now, make sense of it. Make sense of it. And we haven't even gotten to the money factor yet. Now we're going to go to the money factor. Let's not forget how I turned around and I said to y'all, if the median income is only $30,000 and the mortgages are roughly $3,000 a month, you're looking at $264,000 for a house that's still dated back to 1957. Brother Ron, you said you was in home remodeling. I was in home remodeling. Just roughly off of the 3 pictures you see there, what would you be your price to renovate that house and repaint it? Whoa, he laughing.
And honestly speaking, I did it years ago, but just looking at what I'm looking at, you might as well just go buy another house because you almost going to spend easily. If you bought that house for 50 grand, you might as well get another 50 grand ready to just try and maybe 70% update that house because it's probably going to cost you more nowadays.
That's right. Now, mind you, Brother Ron, let me let you know why they're charging that much money for this house. This house is literally, and I kid you not, maybe 25, maybe 3,500 feet away from the major hospital inside the city of Newark. So the only reason why they want that much money is because they believe they're centralized location.
Right.
And unfortunately, it's not worth that money. It's not.
It's not.
Right across the street from that house, they built 4 brand new houses. 4 brand new houses,
right, ranging around
$500,000.
Right.
3 families, okay, right? So again, 265. TikTok, understand something? You gotta come like, follow, subscribe, and share my YouTube channel at Bone Question so you guys can see what I'm talking about and how I'm going to show you guys to create passive income. And I got 15 more minutes, maybe 20 minutes. I don't know. We're gonna see. I'm gonna show you guys one more, and I want you guys to bear with me while I show you this one because this one is really gonna shock the dog days of days. Brother Ron, I want you to sit back and I want you to keep your fingers crossed. I want you to actually hope and pray and say a prayer for the person that's gonna buy this house. Okay, because what I'm about to show you is gonna blow your socks off. I literally say this is gonna blow your socks off. Now I know of this house because this house was literally down the block from where I live. Okay, down the block. That means I can actually walk out of my front door, walk to the corner, and see this house. Okay, now just hold on now. Hold on now. Hold on now. Look here now. Again, as I said, this is inside the city of Newark. The city of Newark median income is roughly about $30,000. I don't care who you are. Most of the people working in Newark don't even live in Newark. They actually work inside Kearney because Kearney pays more money. The city of Newark ain't paying that kind of money for you to buy a house like this. Okay, $600,000 for a house inside.
That's why I keep rocking back and forth.
Brother Ron, $600,000. Matter of fact, I'm gonna blow it up so everybody can see this. $600,000 for this house. Now, there's a reason why they don't show the very first picture as being the front of the house. There's a reason for that. Because if you don't know the area, you think you're getting a bargain. Okay. Where you see that fence, matter of fact, I'm gonna try to open up these pictures. Hold on now. I'm gonna try to open these pictures just because I want everybody to see. Like I said, I talk facts. I don't talk nonsense. Okay. I don't talk nonsense. Now, look at the factor here. It's a 7-bed, 3-bath, 2,139 square feet for $600,000. This goes back to the story, or not a story, because it's actually something that happened. Brother Ron said that when he met the first person that he talked to about buying real estate, they turned around and told him they prefer to buy property in the areas where they know that the people in the area can't afford it because they're going to make more money on it. Here is a perfect example. The people that live inside the city of Newark, East Orange, Irvington, surround this house. Nobody in that area is going to buy this house. I can tell you that right now. And I tell you what, you TikTokers, you can reach out to that realtor that's on the TikTok, and you can turn around and tell them to reach out to me, and I want him to tell me who's buying up these properties. Do they live inside Essex County? Because I can tell you right now, there ain't nobody that lives inside Essex County, New Jersey is buying these houses. I can tell you that right now. All right. So if you don't want to believe me, tell somebody to prove my facts. Prove my thoughts, prove my opinions. If it's not an opinion, it's a fact because I know, because I live there. I live literally right up the block from this house. Okay, so now, look here now. I want to show you something. Brother Ron, I'm going to show you this, and I want you to tell me something. Brother Ron. Please tell me something. Oh, yeah, the auction. Brother Ron, look here now. Brother Ron, I'm going to ask if you can see this picture, Brother Ron. Can you see this right here in this corner? Right above by the window. Can you see that?
Yeah.
That's a hole in the wall. How in God's name do you expect me as an investor, as a buyer, to go up into a house you telling me it's worth $600,000 and you don't even have the audacity to fix a hole in the wall?
Yeah.
Come on, people. Make sense of it. I'm trying to tell you, this is why people in the city of Newark and Essex County are not going to buy any properties because they can't afford it. They don't know how to create that passive income. They're afraid. They don't want to come out their comfort zone, but they want to have cars that are $300,000 with 27-inch rims on it, paying freaking $10 a month in rent. That ain't happening no more. That's come to an end. So now's the time for you to start figuring out how to make that passive income. Brother Ron, I'm going to show you one more picture, Brother Ron. I want you to tell me if this is right or this is wrong. Brother Ron, you in the field. You was in the field. You may be able to tell me if I'm crazy what I'm looking at here. Brother Ron, can you see this?
Okay, so I see 2 water heaters and 2 heaters.
Right.
So that tells me it's a multi-unit.
Right? And them 2 devices, them blue ones and the green ones, you know what there is?
Yeah, those are the heaters.
Yes, sir. Those are the boilers.
But they look old as dirt.
Yes, sir. And they rusted as hell. That means you got to go in there, whoever buys this house has to go in there and repurpose and or replace these units because they got water heaters, but they don't have the boiler system. They don't have the right heating systems. They got to be replaced. So that's an easy $30,000 right there because you got to do it all the way up throughout all places of every single way that pipeline is going.
Yes, they're not even. That's not even the fact that they're gonna have to refurbish those walls in that basement.
This is right because it has water damage in the wall. That's another
Yeah.
$60,000.
Yeah, you already had a ton of money before you even go to the next floor.
That's right. That's right. And that's not even knowing what the other floors look like.
Right.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting, brother Ron. It's disgusting. And I know of this house specifically. I know of this house. I know of it. Listen, you and your wife cannot even walk on the sidewalk together side by side in front of this house. That's how narrow the sidewalk is. And to make matters worse, you people on TikTok heard me talking about this spot. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. TikTok, follow me. YouTube at Bone Crusher. Tell me if I'm wrong. There was a multi-unit house right next to that house I just showed you on that page. On that page, okay? Multi. Let me pull it back up. Let me pull this back up because y'all gonna turn around and say I'm lying. I know y'all gonna turn around and say I'm lying, but I'm gonna tell you what. We're gonna try something right here. We're gonna try this. Watch this. Okay. Y'all gonna say that I'm lying. All right. Anybody in Essex County, matter of fact, if you're in the city of Newark, there's a couple of people on TikTok going back and forth on TikTok. You tell me if this house is not exactly what it is. It's next to a fish and chip that's on Orange Avenue. That's all I'm going to tell you. South 10th and Orange Avenue. That's why I know where it's at. Right across the street is a liquor store. I know the owners personally. They're Dominican. They've been there for years. Don't turn around, walk in there and say, ask for Leo. Leo's still there. I'll tell you that right now. This house right now, the sidewalk is only big enough for one person in a stroller to walk by it. And if you think I'm lying, Google it. Google Maps that joker. You're going to see. Now, coming back to how I was saying before, Brother Ron, I appreciate you staying in here. If you got to jump out, please jump out whenever you can if you need to.
No, I'm good, bro.
I appreciate you being here. And yes, Chris, you're absolutely true. It's besides looking trashy, Chris, let me explain something to you about this house. This house literally has a slumlord. I can tell you like that. The landlord that has that house or had it, I don't know if they still own it. That part I do not know. What I do know is that they're a slumlord. They don't want to fix nothing in that house. Okay. Exhibit A and Y, if you actually you're posting it for sale and you're showing how run down it is, it kind of shows how you are as a landlord. All I'm saying. Now, right next to that house, there's an empty lot. That's why they showed that aluminum fence. That lot that's right there was a 16-unit actual house. Okay. They burnt it to the ground, including a business that was there. They burnt it to the ground because the landlord did not want to have it there anymore. He was tired of paying the taxes on it, and nobody was paying him rent. The city of Newark turned around and put a bid into that lot and said they were going to build a high-rise with a garage and a swimming pool on the roof. That was back in 2018. Google it. I can guarantee you still don't see nothing built on that corner. Why? Because they want to gentrify the area, and they found that they couldn't re-gentrify the area. Because you go 3 blocks in the opposite direction, you come to the Garden State Parkway. Garden State Parkway is a major roadway in the state of New Jersey that comes in and out of New Jersey, gets everybody in and out, and nobody wants to get off of that exit to live there. There's a reason for that. You don't spend $600,000 in an area that nobody wants to live in. Mind you, here comes the tricky part, or here comes the funny part. That lot that I showed you that was a half an acre, that lot is literally 3,000 feet away from that house. So now you're looking at $1 million and 2 pieces of property that's within a block of each other inside the city of Newark. And I'm trying to tell you, the people in Newark don't make nothing more than about $40,000. So how are they going to buy it? How are they going to buy it? How are they going to afford it? I'm just saying, this comes back to Brother Ron's life experience. He was told that specific kind of people go into specific areas to buy these properties. The reason why we're talking about this now comes to the main point of the topic today, passive income. Look here. You figure out a mortgage, talk to your realtor. Your realtor, it has to be, Brother Ron, he testified to this. The realtor told him to buy something different because they were making a bigger commission. They didn't want him to buy that low end. The low end wound up benefiting him. So they weren't in his best interest. They were in their own best interest. And that's numero uno rule that you don't deal with anybody like that. First and foremost, I turned around, I met a brother. Now, mind you, the wife and I, we went through many realtors. And every single one of them, some gums kept saying, no, you could go buy this. No, go buy this. You don't need to live in this area. No, don't tell us where we want to go.
Right.
You know what the taxes are going to be over there. We don't want that. We want this. No, this is not right for you. Okay. And eventually we found somebody that was actually on our side. And his name is Randy Reyes. Yes, I said it again. Randy Reyes. Look him up. He might still be in realty. So now we talk about passive income. You guys saw what I said about the median income, the median prices, and all that other stuff. Brother Ron contested to it as well, that he's in a state that actually is cost of living, which is COLA. Cost of living is much more different than everywhere else. Everywhere else has a different COLA. Yet the one thing that still stays the same is the pricing for the homes and the prices that you actually make, the amount of money you make. Now, Brother Ron, I'm going to ask you a question. Yes. And I promise I ain't going to take too much of your time, because I know
we good. I ain't got nothing to do right now. We good.
All right, brother. Let me ask you this question. Matter of fact, I'm going to ask everybody that's watching TikTok. I want you to come onto my YouTube page and answer this question. Follow me at YouTube at Bone Crusher. I want you to answer this question. Come into the chat room. Answer this question. If I can show you, you are qualified, Brother Ron, for a $600,000 loan living in the state of Philadelphia, of Pennsylvania. If the bank turns around and tells you, Brother Ron, you have now been awarded $600,000 to purchase a home. You come to me and I say, Brother Ron, I'll tell you what. How about you take that $300,000, maximize the $300,000, find a house in South Carolina, North Carolina. I'll manage it for you. You rent it out for $2,300 a month. Rent it out for $2,300 a month. The house, I find a way to make sure the house only costs you $110,000 with an acre of land behind it. Let's do the math. Let's do the math. I'm going to keep it simplified. $2,300 a month in 10 months is 23 what? 23 grand.
Yeah.
So now you invested $200,000. How fast are you going to make that $200,000 back?
Roughly about 5, 6, 7. You get it back easy. I'm on a light end about 8 to 10 years. Probably faster, but depending on if it all goes smooth.
Absolutely. So now you turn around and you took a $600,000 loan, chopped it down to $200,000. Your passive income now is $1,300 on profit a month. And in 5 to 8 years, now you've already finished out that home. You already paid off the mortgage on that home. You're scot-free of that home. Now you turn around and say, Brother Jay, I want to put 2 more. I want you to go find me 2 more. I'll find you 2 more. Now let's do the math. You did $1,300 a month in profit because your mortgage is only $1,000. Right. You got $1,300 every single month over the course of 10 years. Now you had $130,000 in profit, but you qualify for $600,000. Which is the better route? The $130,000 in your pocket, or those $600,000 you got to pay to somebody else?
You know my answer.
This is what I'm trying to say. So the passive income is there. It's just right. People are afraid. I watched a video. I'll tell you like this, brother. When I watched a video, this young lady turned around. She said, I don't want my home anymore. It's been a year that I've been in this home, and I want to get rid of it. I want to go back to an apartment where I can pick up the phone and call the landlord, tell the landlord that he got to come fix something. Okay. If that's what you want, that's what you want. But don't complain about you can't afford your taxes. Don't turn around and say you can't afford your money. Don't turn around and say you broke, because in actuality, you broke because of the way you chose to live. You want to live like the Joneses having baloney money. Why don't you take your baloney money and double the baloney money instead of having a baloney sandwich? Now you have a baloney hero, and now you're making more money, and you're showing other people that you actually made something for yourself.
Yeah.
Instead of doing it for 30 years, I don't get it.
I don't think that I think a lot of times, if I could jump in here.
No, by all means, please jump in anytime you want.
I think a lot of times where I honestly have had this conversation with somebody, and I said the sales mistake, I'm going to call it the sales mistake, is that we have a false conception of what the American dream is. We believe the lie of the American dream is to buy a home. We believe the lie that the American dream is to own a home and live this, whatever case may be. What they don't realize is that that's the American sales pitch.
Right.
And what I mean by American sales pitch is that if I let's say me as a businessman or you as a businessman, I don't want 90% of the country to be businessmen.
Okay.
I want the vast majority of the people to be consumers.
This is true.
Right. So if my mindset and your mindset is I need to maximize my assets and minimize my liabilities.
Right, right, right.
Now, for someone to go out and take $600,000, the minute you buy that house for $6,000, you know what you purchased? You purchased the liability. Because what's going to happen is you're going to assume all of the cost of owning that home. That means whatever job you work or however way you make a living, it's going to be consumed by that home that you love so much. But if you took, like what you said, the asset approach, which is I need to go get some assets, so I'm gonna put this in the hands of Jay and say, you said you can do this, go do this for me. Now I got assets. Those assets is providing me with passive income, right? If I'm patient enough, when I go to buy the $600,000 home, the other 5 and 6 homes that I originally bought will pay for wherever I decide to go, whenever I decide to go there.
That's right. That's right.
What you're saying makes a whole lot of sense for somebody that's for somebody who's on this live and you just getting out and you starting out early. I always say this in the sense of the reason why I say this is that we were talking earlier about the bank, and I said buy the bank.
Right.
And this is where it kind of ties into real estate too, because all right, here's my point. And I'm only going to use one bank. It's called Blackstone, right?
All right.
This is a mortgage company.
Okay.
The reason why I'm going to use this mortgage company is because I own stock in this mortgage company.
I'm buying some. Go ahead.
The stock code is BXMT, right? BXMT. Okay. So if you need to go back.
I'm writing that out right now.
All right. So I'm going to use them as an example so that people understand something. Now, if you're not into real estate, this is what I wish I had access to before I got into real estate. Before I actually started buying property, I wish I would have been able to. I was doing this part first, but I wasn't. If I had, now this is what a lot of real estate people do. Let's say the person who owns that real estate property that you're talking about, the $600,000 that they're trying to sell for $600,000. Let's say I bought. This is just me looking at it from a business perspective. I got a little Nat Randy, but I just kill it. He goes and he selling that house for $600,000. This is sometimes people don't pay attention to on the back end of that. Let's just say he bought that house when it was, let's say he got it at $30,000 when I was talking about the other one, right? Now he goes and looks and say, I don't have a mortgage on this house. But I go look and I say, okay, this property value is almost at, let's say $400,000.
Right.
This is just what I would do. I'm looking at this property that I'm sitting on $400,000. I'm collecting rent, and I know how much rent I'm getting every month. So I'm going to go look and say, you know what? I need to maximize this, and I'm going to try to get rid of this property. But before I get rid of this property, I want to get this money first.
Right.
So I go get that money first, and then I take that money and I invest that money into a mortgage company.
True.
The mortgage, let's say I get $400,000 out of that.
Right.
I take that $400,000 and I invest that into a mortgage company that pays me out a dividend.
Okay.
You see where I'm going with this?
Well, I know where you're going. Yes, indeed.
So I take the key word and I go put that into a dividend. Now that $400,000 is making me more money from the loan.
That's right.
See, and then it's also that same property is still bringing in the rent.
That's right.
Right. So I'm still getting the rent. I took the equity out the house. I'm still getting that money there, and then I put the house back on up for $600,000 because I can weather the storm of how long it's going to take me to sell it.
That's right.
This is what people don't understand. They know the game.
That's right.
So if it takes me 3 years to sell it, I'm not paying for it. It's sitting there because the investment is paying for it and the renter is paying for it. I'm just waiting for it to get where I can get that other $200,000 out because I know I'll never sell it for that.
You are
but at some point, if it grows to that point, I might still get that $600,000. I still own the investment that I had that's paying me out the dividend, and the only thing that's going to stop is the rent.
Yep.
But someone else just paid off the mortgage, even though the business of stuff was paying off the mortgage. Now I have no more investment interest in that. But I just collected $200,000. What people don't realize is that you don't pay taxes on borrowed money.
Bingo! Ding, ling, 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 ling. I was waiting for you to say that.
And that's the whole point behind that. See, they looking at the property and say it's not worth it. They don't understand what this person is doing on the back
Y'all
end.
missing out on this because y'all ain't following me on the YouTube side. YouTube at Bone Crusher. Come on, TikTok. Follow so you can hear this good information.
They're not looking at it on the back end. So they borrowed this money. They invested this money. They didn't already. All they did was shift it where the money went. Now they're still living free life because they were patient.
Right.
And because they were patient, they was using smart money. Most of us get caught up into the hype of life because we fall for the sell pitch of follow the American dream, follow the American dream. When that Jewish man said that, he said to me as a young man, if I would have gotten my feelings, I would have backsmacked him and said, you're being racist.
Right.
Even though he was educating me, because he said your people, when I knew what he was talking about, when he said your people in your area where you live, I knew what he was talking about. And he showed me the address of the properties, and I'm like, oh, these houses are not far from where I actually live.
Right.
But he owned warehouses that he was renting out to companies that do manufacturing and warehouses. He owned property, he owned all this stuff.
Right.
And he's collecting all of this type of money. And I said, so there's my point to the point that I'm making to the point that you're saying is that we both know that house isn't worth that.
Right.
But whoever this person is probably understood that if I get what I can equity wise out of that, I can lay the groundwork for the next thing, because all of that equity and all of that dividend, all that rent, that's money that he's making. It's still income, considered income. Even in the stock market, if you invest in dividends, after 2 years, that's considered income.
Right.
So now you can pile that on to the income of what you have. So let's say, like you said about the credit report, the debt to income ratio. Right?
Come on.
So the debt to income ratio, if you're investing into property that creates passive income, and you also investing on the side of what I do a lot of too now is investing into dividend stocks. Every single month, and regardless of what I own in debt, because my income goes up every single month from investments,
Reach it.
I can care less about debt to income ratio because I'm outpacing inflation.
And this is the reason why I'm glad you're here. See, because that right there, people will not believe. If I would have said it, they will not believe me. I'm glad you said it, because that's how you create passive income. We're doing small things. The slightest thing you do can create a major endpoint.
Yes.
And I'm going to say a major situation for you. Okay? You're making a major situation. You're making yourself self-sustained. That's the key. That's the key. It is to make yourself self-sustained. Brother Ron, I couldn't say it better, man. That's why I'm glad you was able to join us here.
Oh no, I could wait till today, man. I told you earlier. I said the brain was already there before I got here because I couldn't get. I was like, all right, he didn't put me. Even if I had something I was thinking about doing, my mind went to this and I couldn't get it out of, because honestly speaking, and this is just real talk. I mean, I know, is that, for people like us who come from, like, all right, I'm gonna use myself. I come from North Philadelphia, right?
Okay.
Bernard Hopson, North Philadelphia, Hard Knocks, North Philadelphia. Born and raised all my life.
Okay.
Right? And a lot of times I see the disparity amongst African American in those type of areas. I've seen it throughout the years, right? And these simple information that if more of the people in those type of area had the discipline to stay away from the Michael Jordan sneakers and the Coach bags and all this expensive stuff, if they had the discipline to say, I don't need to look good for nobody, what I need to be is clothed and covered. That's it. It don't matter who's right. My rule of thumb is I should never give someone's name more value than I give my own.
Right.
Meaning, if I spent $200, first of all, I would never do it because I never owned a pair of Jordans in my life. But if I'm going to spend $200 on a pair of sneakers for $200, and I look at my bank account and I don't have $2,000 in my bank account, I just gave Michael Jordan more value than I gave myself.
Right.
Because
Right.
I'm positioning someone who's already wealthy to be more wealthier. And meanwhile, I haven't done anything to build my own personal wealth. I said his name is more important to me than my own name.
Right.
Now,
Right.
if those
Right.
sneakers said Ronnie,
No, that's a different ball game.
then it's a different ball game. Because
Absolutely.
I'm going to advertise for me.
You're right. You're right. You're
But
right.
it's not, so it gets to the point where, we have to get to the point as anybody. I'm not saying anybody. I'm only using that as a means of, because of experience. I don't care about your race. I'm just saying experience through my life.
Right. Right. Right.
But the reason why I bring that up is because financially, demographically, if you look at the pay scale, we're at the bottom end of that.
Right.
And the reason why we're at the bottom end of that is because we have been consumer trained for so far too long, and we don't realize that if we have the money,
right,
we're just putting it in the wrong places.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's
could not
the point
disagree.
That I'm trying to make is that we're putting it in the wrong places, and if we took a little bit of that, some of that money, and disciplined ourselves enough and supported it enough, and you might have to stay home with mom for a couple of years to get this accomplished, mom and dad to accomplish this as a young person. But if you do it and you do it disciplined enough, and if you do it soon enough, you can set the stage for you not to have to financially struggle down the road, pretty much probably for the rest of your life if you stay in that discipline.
You absolutely right.
You got the floor, brother.
No, listen, I appreciate all your input. I really do. I got to tell you, I really appreciate your input. And that's why I'm glad we was able to do this collab together. Because even as we didn't hit all the main points, because again, this is just informative to those people who don't understand what we talk about passive income, how passive income can be done so easily with so little work out of you physically doing it. So whether it's real estate, whether it's stocks, whether it's renting out, being a landlord, or hell, just think about this for a moment. If you make $30,000 a year, and I can tell you like this, I look at the employment stats of what's happening in Jersey every single day. I don't understand how is it all these major companies in the state of New Jersey are opening up and people are still making under $30,000. I don't understand it. I really don't. Okay. And until somebody stands up and says, Jay, you're wrong, let me explain to you what's going on. Let me in on it. Tell me about it. Yes, there will be a part two. Top to bottom right. There will be a part two because there's more information coming down the pipeline. We don't know when it's going to be, but there will be a part two because then we're going to get to real details about what's happening, where some people are going to need the information on how to create that passive income.
Yes.
Because the next topic, and then Brother Ron, if you're available, if you could, I'll be more than glad to have your input on it.
You already know.
The next live I'm doing is actually about secondary tertiary income, which is mainly produced by those that are doing Uber Eats, Uber driving, Door Dashing, Instacart, those type of things. I want those people, you TikTokers, I want you to reach out to your friends and family who's doing this. I want y'all to watch for that actual live that's coming up because there's some information that I need to cross-reference to what happened before to what's going to happen now. First Man, appreciate you stepping in. You guys.
What's up, brother? How you doing, First Man? And here's the thing.
Go ahead, Ron.
Here's the thing on that. When we do the second one, not only when you talk about with the Uber and stuff, and I think what I'm going to throw in there is opportunity income. Something that sometimes I've done throughout my years is opportunity income. I'm not going to tell y'all what that is. You're going to have to come back to get that.
That's right. Because it's going to be real good information.
It's going to be opportunity
real good information.
And believe me when I tell you what I do. Sometimes it happens. Is another way for you to make not big money, but opportunity money. But and I'll explain what it is that what happens. But you're going to have to come back for round two to get that one.
Round two is going to be good. I tell you, I know round two is going to be good because I'm going to come hard. Because like I said before, and I'll say it again, before I open my mouth, I'm going to have the data, and I have experienced it myself. I've drove for Uber, and I drove for Uber Eats, and I drove for DoorDash. I like to get involved in anything that I talk about. Any place that there's money to be made, I'm in it. I'm in there like swimwear. I'm going to get it. Even if I got to wear a bikini with some high heels on, I'm going to run around in some pink high tops. Yes, indeed. Hugging my stuff. I don't care. It's got money. I'm going to try to make some money. All right.
Yeah, that's right. I ain't lying.
Somebody out there is going to give me some money.
Gonna pay me some cash. I don't care who it is. They're going to give me some money.
That's right. That's right. Yes, indeed.
If
That's
you
right.
ain't got no money, you're going to have to give me some milk and cookies.
Woo, Lord. You going to get the milk and cookies? Oh, with him downstairs.
Them
Don't get
damn
him
kids.
started.
Who and him?
I got told we both gonna get stuck in the corner pretty soon.
Who and him?
All right, well, Brother Ron, listen here. Now, I know I took up a lot of your time, and I appreciate you stopping
We
in.
great, man.
All right, and listen, and I gotta be honest, man. I really appreciate all you did, all this input that you shared on this live with me. You TikTokers, even though some of you had popped out and popped right back in, please like, subscribe, follow, and share my channel on YouTube side at Bone Crusher. Also, Ron, before I jump out, please plug your actual.
I was trying to do it, but for some reason it wasn't letting me plug it in. But it's all good. I mean, it's all good. Don't worry about it. They know Ron's opinion don't matter. If you go to YouTube, look up Ron opinion don't matter. You'll see my face. You'll see that background. You can't miss it.
That's right. That background is gonna be unique for him. Don't forget, follow his page. Ron's opinion don't matter. TikTok. Go ahead and do so. First Man, listen, I'm gonna jump into this last one right here because First Man put something up there. It's hold on. He said, even right now, my family's texting me trying to get me to come out and spend $30 on a chicken dinner. Why?
Mom, you only got $29.99. Man, the penny short.
First of all, I like to know where they spend $30 on a chicken when the chicken only costs $7. When the chicken only costs $6. Sure. Come on now, $6 doesn't make sense of this. Let's make sense of it.
Thank you, Bottom. Appreciate it.
$30 on a chicken dinner. Man, that person that's cooking that chicken better stand in front of me and chop up that chicken, pluck the chicken, and
you go to the right place. We're gonna find out how to build a whole chicken coop. Leah, how you doing? God bless you. God bless you.
At $30, yes, sir. Leah, thank you very much.
Please look at the replay. They're talking about some $30 on chicken.
$30, man, $30. That sounds like a dozen eggs right now.
I know. Sure.
They're charging $30 for some chicken. Man, listen.
I ain't paying no $30 for them chicken. You think I'm going to give me $30 for them chicken? We ain't paying no. You better take that chicken. Who want to pay $30 for some gas? Man, I ain't paying no $30 for chicken. You better take time. Hey. I don't even know. What? That's the restaurant for I'm concerned.
Ron, you got people cracking up in my background over here. I gotta tell you, people are cracking up.
Sure.
Oh my gosh! In Louisville.
That better be 30 live chicken dropping eggs right there and then. I ain't paying $30 on chicken.
Oh my Lord! He said Louisville, Kentucky. They don't know how to cook chicken there. They ain't chicken, them the pigeons. That bird won't be about this big. I ain't paying $30 for no bird that this big 6-inch bird. Hell no.
Run, First Man, run! Get out of there! You're gonna be broke.
Tell him he should send you $1 through Cash App, then you take him out to dinner for $30. Man,
you gotta go to the bathroom.
Man, get up and run out. I'm gonna go for a smoke a cigarette. Even if you don't smoke, get up and walk out the bill. Leave them with that $30 bill. Hell, stinking no. All right. Well, with that being said, Brother Ron, I appreciate you stopping in and taking this time.
Same here, brother. I had a good time.
I know. I appreciate you, and I'm glad you did. It's some very informative information out there. We're going to have a part 2. We're going to dive a little bit more deeper into the passive income concept. If you have any questions, don't forget, please reach out to me. I can be found at YouTube at Bone Crusher.
Yes.
And please watch the replay so you can understand why part 2 is needed.
Right.
Because part 1 of course, which was today. A lot of you may have missed out on it, but watch the replay. You can understand why we talk about it. And I said it again, I say it again, and I say it again, and I'm gonna say it again. You have to understand the way I speak it because I am Spanish, and Spanish people speak out like this. You understand? I tell you one more time. It is done so you can follow a like, a share the channel, so that this way I can be in your community as well. Okay, share the page, share YouTube at Boncasa, share.
Okay, okay, senor. Something wrong with this guy. I don't know. Do you understand the? No, nobody understands the word.
I know. Femi,
Hey, how are you doing?
Femi.
Glad to see you here. If you didn't catch the whole show, Leah, please go back watch the whole replay. You're going to be excited. I tell you that. I tell you with no lie.
It is because the man is speaking the truth. He is saying something that is true. We are going to watch for part 2 so we can actually see the major situation come about. He is speaking the truth. This man is very intelligent. He is very intelligent and he speaks the truth. We are going to follow him once again to understand what he is talking about because he is speaking something that we all need. Because at the end of the day, we need to stop having a handout. Our handout doesn't get us anywhere. So now we have to support ourselves. He has spoken the truth. We will listen to part 2 very soon.
You I mean, I don't know when we're going to do it, but I'm assuming we're probably going to do it on another Sunday or maybe the same time, just a different date.
I'm thinking so. Because
Yeah.
I believe I have a much more flexible schedule than you do, and,
Yeah.
and as much
Sundays
as I want
work
you to
for
be
me.
part there, I want you to be part of it. So I'm gonna work around your schedule.
Sunday's fine for me. The time that we just did it was perfect. We
All
just
right.
had to pick another day.
All right,
We can
I
work
got
for
you
just
covered.
another day.
And if you don't mind, I'll hit you up, and then we'll
Yes.
go over
Yes.
it.
Yes.
All right, brother Ron. Many blessings to you, brother. I
Same to
appreciate
you,
you
brother.
stopping in. I
Yes,
appreciate
yes.
all your
I had a good
information.
time. I had a wonderful
I'm glad
time.
you shared it. Hopefully, a lot of people understand why we're talking about passive income during
Yes.
these hard times that they claim. It's actually a reset. It's not a hard time. It's actually a reset. We're going through a reset. And if you don't start creating passive income now, in the next 3.5 years, you're going to be left behind with absolutely nothing because you only got 3 years left to make it happen. So if you don't make it happen now, listening to Brother Ron, listening to Brother Jay, with a little bit of information we're going to give you, you may just be successful and self-sustained when the real big hip-hop nonsense occurs. And what I mean by that is very simplified. When the world resets, you got to be ready. Okay? You got to be ready. And we're going to be ready just like Freddie. Because Fred G said it best. G stands for good. We're going to be good in the next 3 years. Real simplified. I'll catch y'all a little bit later, Brother Ron. Again, I hit you up and I thank you again. Many
No
blessings.
problem, man. God bless you.
All right.